When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. They have taken untold billions that they never told to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single will return. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Makes us strong.
All right, a pleasant good evening and welcome to this special program of Straight Up. It's Saturday, the 10th day of February. Month is almost finished with, year is almost, it's getting there, but we have with us no strangers. You would have been able to see some of them very active on the picket line, so to speak. We have first Vice President of the Guyana Teachers Union with us this evening, Miss Mariska Williams, and we have General Council Representative Takurdeen Durga. He's with us this evening, and Takurdeen, all the way from Region Number 2, has been very, very busy over the past couple days. In fact, Mariska, all of them have been busy over the past couple days. And on behalf of all of you who are watching us, whether from Guyana, wherever you are, let me just, before we start off with my questions for this evening, to salute these two heroes, these two brave individuals who are out there for the past 5 days standing up for the rights of all teachers, and by extension, standing up for the rights of the nation. Because without these teachers, I probably would not have been hosting this program here today at all. I probably would have, I don't know what I would have been doing, but thanks to my teachers, and I always give kudos to them out in the quarantine, Headmistress Norma Stewart, the late Norma Stewart of Winifred Gaskin Memorial, and of course, one of my teachers. There are many teachers, but Maureen Bino, Maureen Collins, as we knew her then, when the Wild Canes were very, very busy. And both of you can tell that I've had my share of Wild Canes and the hands and all over. But you can fairly say that I turned out good, right? Good evening, Dean, Sir Dean, and good evening, Miss Williams. How are you guys doing?
Good evening, Mr. Benchcott. Good evening, the teaching fraternity. Good evening, Guyana. Good evening, world. We're doing fine, but we can be much better. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, we will get into that. Sir Dean, your microphone. Go ahead. Good evening, sir. One quick second. We have noticed that your microphone needs to be on mute.
Yes. Yes. Good evening, Brother Benskop, and good evening, everyone. Good evening, teachers. Good evening, Guyana. Good evening, the world. We're live here to talk about the strike that is happening presently in Guyana.
Absolutely. Let's start off with our guy out in Region 2, so to speak. I know you speak not only on behalf of Region 2, but throughout the country. What has it been like this past 5 days? We know we have seen a busy getting together there in Region 2. But what it's like, describe to us, those of us who are not there on the ground.
Well, actually, Region 2, we cover from it's Pomeroon Supernam, right? We cover the Pomeroon and the Supernam. And I can tell you, for the last 5 days, we have teachers coming out from way in the Supernam Creek we call Bethany, and as far as the lower Pomeroon, upper and lower Pomeroon, coming out on a daily basis to join us in solidarity there at Anna Regina, so to speak. For the past 5 days, what we have done has never happened in Region 2 before, because Region 2, in that location, members there and citizens there, they never supported a strike. And so we realized that our members, they were scared in some case of victimization and other things. And because of their affiliation with certain governments and so on, they never come out. But what happened? We have organized them, and they have realized that they need to strike because this issue is not a political one. It is about bread and butter. It is about our family. It is about our interests, and it is about the development of our beautiful country, Guyana. And
Well,
so
well,
the support there, yes,
sorry, go ahead.
yes, the support there is overwhelming. And so as you've been viewing it, the teachers are out there and we're getting support from the parents and the business community. So on a daily basis out there, on the picket line, we are able also to provide for those who are there hot meals. And all these are coming through donations and contribution.
Well said. The massive outpour of support that you guys have been getting. Thank you so much for that introduction, Sir Dean. Let's go over to Mariska Williams, and Miss Williams is the first vice president of the Guyana Teachers Union. Before we get into some questions in terms of some slugs being thrown at the union as it pertains to finances and so forth, just give us a brief introduction and the area in which you cover. Your microphone, please, Ms. Williams, if you can. So go ahead. Give us a brief introduction of yourself, briefly, of course, and tell us about what the strike has done in your area and the kind of support you guys have been getting.
My name is Mariska Williams. I'm the first vice president of the Guyana Teachers Union. At the union, the direct responsibility falls on me of finance and buildings. To respond to the question, Mr. Benchcop, I can say that while you would have been seeing in the media that it is not impactful, I can say to you it is a lie. Because thus far, I would have visited Bartica, and even though you might not see the numbers on the street, teachers are at home. I visited Linden, and we know that when it comes to certain things, Linden sticks no nonsense. We have Ichuni and also Kwakwani came out last Thursday. So full support. I can say from up at them, there is about 95% support as it relates to that. In Georgetown, we have the support, I should say about 65 to 70% support. You would recognize that the top schools, they're still in full swing, but that is not going to stop us from doing what we have to do, because at the end of the day, everyone will benefit. And so while you would be hearing a missive that GTU would be threatening teachers, that is far from the truth. What we will be doing is encouraging those who are at work to come out, because at the end of it, they would not take what they get and give to charity. They would accept it and smile. So thus far in the Demararas, I can say to you, yes, the support is there. When it comes to Barbies, of course, we have about 65 to 70% support in the industrial action by way of strike.
All right, Mariska Williams, first vice president of the Guyana Teachers Union. Let's head back to Essequibo. Sir Dean Durga, we've been hearing the propaganda that this strike is politically motivated. There has been tremendous amount of evidence to prove those who have been branding you guys as being politically motivated. They have not. Those who want to say that this strike is political, they have not succeeded. But why do you suppose that they would want to basically label this strike as political when in fact it's not?
Well, actually, you know, everything that happened, or most things that happen to the government of the day, they always try to blame it on something or try to blame someone. But what I can say from Essequibo, Essequibo is one of, or would have been one of their, as from statistics, stronghold. But what has happened there has proven that it is not political. It is about bread and butter, because all the teachers who are supporting, almost 75% who are out there, they have some affiliation to some maybe political party, but has nothing to do with what is happening on the front line there. And we have made it clear, and we have said this, that this strike is not a political one. It has to do with the teachers' interests, and it is about bread and butter. There's a bread and
And the,
butter issue. And
go ahead. Sorry.
yes, so they try to peddle false and misleading information to say that it is a political motivated strike, but it is not. Because why the strike came about? For the past 4 years, since 2020, we tried to meet out to the government or the representative of the government, and letters were sent, all the protocols were observed, and on to today, nothing substantial was done. And so the strike, the industrial action, which was the last resort, that is what we had to do. And so we are here.
And so I just want the listeners to know that, and this is key to what you've just said there, Sir Dean, that for the past 3+ years, the Guyana Teachers Union have reached out to the government of the day, and they have ignored every single opportunity to reach out and sit and to have a proper discussion with the union. I just want the listeners to know that. Let's get back to Ms. Williams, Mariska Williams, on the issue of why the propaganda about the teachers' strike being politically motivated. Why the propaganda?
Well, it is public. It is public that several of our teachers and also our general secretary is an MP of the opposition. And so it isn't a surprise to us. It is not a surprise to the nation. Why they would use such a missive to say that it's political, right? But as my brother, Mr. Duga, would have stated, it has nothing to do with that. I should say also, this strike action is a call coming from the membership because we have it minuted in several meetings because we did our work. We did our work. We went out, we had meetings, and we asked the teachers what more should we do because we would have followed all protocols and procedures as it relates to, and no response. And so the membership asked for this. So there is no secret. It is being peddled because of our general counsel, our general secretary, Sister MacDonald, who is an MP of the opposition. But it has nothing to do with that. Should it reach to a legal point stand, we have it minuted in several meetings throughout the length and breadth of Guyana at our meetings with the teachers.
And so I'm glad that you've made that point lucidly clear, thanks to you and thanks to Sir Dean as well, that this is not a politically motivated strike, despite the fact that maybe Coretta McDonald is an MP in the coalition, is irrelevant because we have MP of the GAHU, who is the president of GAHU. He is in parliament as well on the PPP side. But whenever they say something, it's never political for the PPP. I just want to make that point clear. But let's get back to Essequibo Sardine. Sardine. Sounds for a moment like I'm saying sardine, but it's sardine. Sardine, what's the mood like of the, what are the parents saying? For the most part, are the parents in support of this strike? Are the students in support? Give us a description as to what's happening in Essequibo, please.
Actually, the parents are in support of the strike because most of them, they are not sending out their children to school. There are a few schools that are open and nothing much is happening because what basically the few teachers who are there, they will just give them a textbook and give them some work from the text. And basically on a daily basis, what is happening is no actual academic work, much academic work, but the teachers, they are just supervising the children. The parents, they are 100% supporting us because they know the need of the teachers. They know that when teachers get what they deserve, their children, I will say our children, will be betterly looked after. Because from our meager salary on a daily basis, we have to take part of that to look after some of our children. Sometimes there are some that show up without meals, without transportation, without materials, and we have to go into our pockets, our meager salary, to help and assist those children. So the parents understand the plight of all the teachers and they are supporting us fully. For the matter
Well
of fact,
said.
some of the parents are giving us on the front line. They're bringing donations, they're bringing food, they're bringing water, and so on, and helping and urging us, giving us those good words to continue until we get what we deserve.
And we see a lot of folks on social media are also supporting the strike. It's not a political strike, mind you. You guys forget about that propaganda, those who are listening. It is not a political strike. Now let's get back to Ms. Williams as it pertains to parents and students in your area. How supportive are they?
Well, you're not hearing much from the parents because everyone, you know, are talking about being victimized if they speak out and so forth. But in Barbies, I can speak for them because we have regular meetings. Barbies, as well as Demerara, the parents are very supportive to those schools, which the teachers say, well, that's it. We close door. And even those schools who we have some teachers attending, parents say, look, it's a strike, and their children are.
All right. I want to, before we get back to Sardine, we're hearing all these things about we care and we care coming from a particular quarter out in Brickdam. We care and we care. As Sardine said, close to 4 years, you guys have been asking for some attention to be paid to teachers and the needs of the teachers and the classrooms and so forth that could better, elevate the students and to make everyone comfortable. But you guys have been ignored. What do you say to those who are saying now that we care and we care about this education system?
I want to say that the we care that is being used, it is being used very loosely. And they care for their own personal mileage. Because I can say this to you from our multi-year agreement, what this government would have done. They extracted stuff from in our multi-year agreement and presented it to teachers without any consultation, without having any meetings with us, and would have imposed it on the membership as if it's the government of the day initiative. And I will make mention to the same allowances as it relates to the degrees and the doctorates and the diplomas. That would have been something that was extracted from our multi-year agreement. So it's not because we care. They don't care. They're looking for mileage for themselves. So it's not we care. Because if this was a caring administration, they would not have allowed this here to meet to the state where teachers have to go on a strike action just to have a sit down and talk. Because this is not, we didn't meet to the state to strike to say, huh, all the Guyana Teachers Union through the membership we're asking for is for us to sit because we know a proposal we have to go through and we have to negotiate. But at no point all our efforts would have been ignored. So that is not a caring for individual, a caring government by extension. That is not how you treat persons whom you care for.
Well said. 27 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's 27 minutes after 9 o'clock in Guyana. Let's head back to Essequibo. Sir Dean, about this We Care. Suddenly we're hearing about We Care. We know that there are several schools that have been, earmarked for construction. They're all incomplete and all manner of things. But what is your take on this, in my opinion, propaganda about we suddenly care? Is the evidence there that they care?
We care. I would want to use this. You know, one of the telephone company say talk is cheap, and I think those are cheap words. We care because actions speak louder than argument. Now, I can give you a simple situation. I am at Abramsville Secondary, and that was a newly built school. And before we got that school, there was an arrangement. The building prior there, when we removed from there, we went to Aurora Secondary, which is located in a village called Pomona. And the ministry would have promised us 3 buses to take children from the park to that location. We started off with 2. And then they left us with 1. And I'm telling you, 126-seater bus. And on a daily basis, I would have made many complaints. I would have I talked to all the various authorities in the region and so on, and they keep pushing around and so on. And on a daily basis, on a 26-seater bus, I normally will take an average of 40, and sometimes it is doubled most of the time. And I've done that basically to help those parents and the children because the passage was very expensive. And so to say that you're care, if you were a care, then you would have been looking at those children, you would have been looking at those teachers since then. So I can't understand how you're coming to say we care. Prove it. Show the action. Don't say it.
Well said. Prove it. Show the action. Don't just pretend that you care and put flowers and roses and things are not as such. But let us head back to Miss Williams about this we care stuff. We see there's a photograph, and it's very sad, of buses out in Region 6, Quarantine, Borbis area, and the fact that school children are not getting that opportunity for free transportation as they did before. Is that how they care, ma'am?
I think that aspect of the question should be answered by the government of the day because the picture of itself, it speaks for itself. It's in plain sight for everyone to see. It's only the we without the care. It's about we, not we care. It's about we.
Well said, and thank you for responding to that question, both of you, as we just say good evening to all of you who are now joining us, whether you're in Guyana, whether you're outside of Guyana. This is about the teachers' strike, and with us, we have 2 representatives. We have the first vice president of the Guyana Teachers Union, Mariska Williams, and we have also a representative of the Guyana Teachers Union, Sir Dean Durga. They are with us, which takes me to this next question as it pertains to back to Miss Williams. The books for 20 plus years, you guys have not audited. You guys have not got your books in order, your finances in order. This is according to another propaganda, and we see here GTU's financial documents not filed in 20 years. And this is coming from the deeds and commercial registries. Not surprising at all. But what's going on with your books, please, at GTU?
All right. Now, let me say this before I say anything else, because I know persons are already saying, oh, now they're having mixed emotions about who's telling the truth and who's telling the lies. I must state that the filing of returns by trade unions annually is one of those measures which has fallen into disuse, and it cannot impact on the validity of the union as a union. So just know that, world. The filing of those returns, it does not determine whether a union is a union. So for the membership who are somewhat confused and are wondering with all the propaganda, because they're coming from all angles with low blow, because legally they know that we're in our rights. Now, to address the question, in 20 years, if I am sitting in a government and over 20 years, plus years, audit was not done on a recognized organization who would normally receive every year subvention, I would be ashamed to sit as a vice president and make such a pronouncement. What I would have done is reach out to that organization and ask them nicely to bring in what they have. Because in order to get those subventions, we need to present a budget along with a plan. And when we finish to get it the next year, we must present receipts. And if your books are not in order, it therefore means that subvention you cannot have. And it takes us back to the GTUC. So to be sitting government, I want to use that as a low blow to have character assassination on the Guyana Teachers Union. I say it is a shame. Mind you, the Guyana Teachers books, they are in order. And so we are ready and we will submit.
Absolutely. I'm glad before we get to Sir Dean, let me just say that according to the Village Voice News, Kamraj Ramjatan, Member of Parliament and leader of the Alliance for Change, confronts Bar Jagdeer's attack on teachers' union. In fact, we're hearing that, according to Mr. Ramjatan, the filing of returns by trade unions annually is one of those measures which has fallen into disuse. In law, it is called disuse state, It cannot impact on the validity of the union as a union. And this is coming from a lawyer. But then again, before we move on with what Ramjatan said, let me just remind our listeners that there are lots of unions, including GAU. I am almost certain that GAU doesn't have its books in order, its financial books in order, but yet the PVP and so forth, they're not going to call out GAU. We understand why. But then again, before we go back to Essequibo, let me just throw this little punch at those guys at Freedom House at where is it, Rob Street, especially that one particular guy who has sat there for almost 10 years as general secretary without an elections. And so I just thought I say that particular person has no moral authority to talk about anybody's books, any organization's books, and so forth and so on. But Mr. Dean, what is your take on suddenly this low punch of the Guyana Teachers Union as it pertains to this propaganda by those guys at Freedom House, that GTUC's financial documents not filed in 20 years? Your take, sir.
Well, according to my sister there, she would have talked about the first part, but I must say this also, that we have our internal auditor and our books are being audited internally. Besides that, at every General Council meeting, we have our financial statements and report. So that statement is a loose statement. It is a statement without any weighting, and it is a statement that, someone is looking to cause some sort of trouble, but they will not get through.
Well said. They will not get through. It's just some sort of trouble. They're losing the battle. The teachers are out in their numbers. The parents are supporting the strike. Students are supporting the strike because, look, this is a multifaceted way to look at it, because not only teachers are going to benefit from this, parents will benefit, students will benefit, and by extension, the entire community, the entire village, the entire country, the nation will benefit from this. And it's only fair that a government that cares about the people, mind you, would want to sit and negotiate and offer the teacher or teachers a better salary, a salary increase that is reasonable, not a 6.5, because recently all of them, all of the ministers got an increase. They no longer get 800,000. They're getting 1.2 or 1.3 million dollars. But yet, Mr. Irfan Ali is saying to you, the teachers, that y'all be patient. They're not saying that to GAWU workers to be patient, but they're telling the teachers and other public servants, y'all rest yourself, y'all be patient. Now, this leads me back to Ms. Williams now. Exams are around the corner. What are the parents saying, and how concerned should the parents be about exams for their kids during this strike?
The parents should be very much concerned, and hence that is why the Ghana Teachers Union would have been calling on parents to start speaking out. Because let me say this to parents, the strike action while the government of the day is sitting and saying, oh, they will be returning to the class again from the membership. The membership has spoken and the strike will be indefinite. So parents need to start speaking out. The same private sector would have been benefiting so much from budget allocation. They also need to condemn such an act on the rights of citizens of this country, but we're not hearing anything from the private sector, and we're wondering why. Parents, speak out.
Of course we know why. Of course. And now let's get back to Sir Dean all the way in Essequibo, and I say good evening to all the folks out in Essequibo. Sir, why is it that they feel that they can take teachers for granted by telling the teachers of the nation, y'all don't worry about no increase right now. Y'all wait. Y'all be patient. Meanwhile, they got an increase. Ministers got an increase of over $300,000 on their salaries, but they want you guys to wait. Explain that, please.
Because we are law-abiding citizens and we try to be professional in everything we do as teachers, we always try to wait on process and procedures. And what has happened to us here has been happening to us long years before now. As teachers, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting. But you know what? The whole dynamics of this thing, it has changed. And so persons start thinking differently. Time is money. Time, we have to value time. And so we realize that these are strategies when they come and say, wait, thing will happen. But as I said earlier, we were waiting for about 4 years. And we were putting ourselves in position to talk and to reach out and to go around this table, but no one is looking at us. And so this waiting caused frustration. And so even our ordinary member, I can say this, if we had not called this strike, our central and our executive body, they would have been picketed by our actual members, because our members, they are saying it is too long. They are frustrated. And so the time factor, it is too long.
It's too long. You guys have been waiting
Yes.
too long to talk for almost 4 years to talk. Um,
Yes.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. We'll just take a quick break and we'll be back with more this special program about teacher strike and what's next this coming Monday. We'll be right back.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. They have taken untold billions that they never told to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single will return. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
You know, solidarity forever indeed. And good evening to all of you who are now joining us. We are talking about the teacher strike and, of course, what's going to happen as of next week. But before we get to that, though, Ms. Williams, the PPP regime has decided to strike you guys again below the belt. They have issued a statement saying that that's it. They are no longer going to collect the union dues on behalf of the GTU. How vindictive could that be? And let me get your opinion, please.
All right. We had a rejuvenation day sometime back last term when we would have used that process to test how strong our membership stands with us. And you see, they were not expecting what is going on right now. And so from there also, it led us to this. And I remember being in the interview and I was saying that union busting, the Guyana Teachers Union will not stand for. And so while they may feel that this low blow will be one that will actually cause the Guyana Teachers Union to phase out, no. It is going to cause the Guyana Teachers Union to get even stronger, because as a union, we will never go back ever in the direction of having the Ministry of Education be the agent for deduction. So it's not going to, we're not bothered with petty things. I should say those are petty things. We are focusing on the issues at hand, and the issues at hand are to have us engage in collective bargaining. We need to sit down and iron out the issues of the teachers. So from the Guyana Teachers Union, it's a low blow, but it's petty. And it's not bothering us. It's going to make us even stronger. It's going to make our membership increase.
Well said, Sardine. I know, and I have noticed some comments from some teachers who were talking about the subtle threats. What is your take on the subtle threats, apart from the low blow of suspension of the deduction for teachers' dues? What about the subtle threats that is out there?
Well, we said to them, our membership, that the threats, don't worry with those threats. We will take care of it, because those threats, they will come, and those threats are to victimize our membership. And but we know how to counterattack. And so sometimes that is why, for example, I can use this. On Friday, we were using a shed at the Department of Education in that area. And on Friday morning, we used that shed until the Thursday evening because we put another tent there. And that shed, they asked us early the Friday morning, they sent police there to lock the entrance and for us teachers not to go there. And teachers as law-abiding citizens, from the time they see a set of police, what will happen? But what we would have done, we went and collected our tent and moved it across the other side. And on that same breath and note, a parent supported us and sent a tent immediately. And so we had two tents. And we moved our chairs and we start operating from there. So they are coming up with all these fancy threats and words to try to break us. But we shall not be moved until they decide to sit and bargain with us.
Well
In
said.
connection with the
Go ahead.
in connection with our finances and financial member, before they made this statement that they will not be collecting the dues on behalf, they were trying to cripple the union, because when we would have garnered our new membership and we take those documents into the various accounting departments of the various region, they will delay, because they know when they start taking out those dues, those members will be members. And so when they delay, that will hold back the number or the population of our membership. And so I said it at one of our meeting there the other day. When they think that they were doing us a bad, they're doing us a good, because the teachers, the young teachers now with the technology, they said that they will get themselves organized and they will use the MMG. And other than that, I said it loud and clear, we are merely taking a $700. And on the spot, the members decided, you know what? We will pay $1,000. We will match the dependent pension fund $1,000 that was imposed on us without any consultation.
Well said, Sir Dean. Well said, Miss Williams. And this here, I am certain, will encourage 10 times the amount of folks who turned out for the protest, this strike action, teacher strike action last week. The numbers are going to increase tenfold. You've got to go out, you've got to join the teachers, and all teachers, remember this is a struggle, not just for 10 teachers, but for 10 plus thousand teachers all across the country. Kudos to you guys. And even as we speak, and as Mr. Irfan Ali said that, hey, wait a minute, teachers, we have nothing for you now. You guys be patient. They're not patient at all with their salaries. And then they're more interested in presidential wine, more than sit down and to negotiate with the teachers. There's a presidential wine and all manner of things. Presidential wine. Well, this here was actually sent by a teacher. And so moving away from that now, let's get to this one here now, guys. This was back in September the 2nd, 2018. No other than Priya Manik-Chan. She says, tomorrow the Christmas term of the new academic year 2018-2019 begins, or ought to have begun. I refrained from posting before on whether parents should send their children to school. And this was because I honestly felt The government would have made a sensible offer to teachers before tomorrow so that the strike could be called off. Like so many others, I am perplexed and disappointed that the government has remained silent about better offer. Blah, 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 blah. Miss Williams, the glaring hypocrisy. Please touch on that.
Well, politicians will always be politicians. When they're on the opposite side, they will sing so many tunes. And that is why we're reminding them. Hence, that is one of the evidence which supports, along with the vice president and Ashni Singh, that this strike action is not political. Because the tune they would have been singing while they were in opposition, now that they are in government, it's a different one. So we have the evidence. We have the evidence to counter everything that they would have been spreading there that is untrue. You know. And so again, all I'm saying is that the Guyana Teachers Union, we have one main objective, and it's to sit down and iron out our membership. They are frustrated, they are grieving, and they want what should be ours. We just want to have a sit down with the government of the day and let us address our multi-year agreement. And also, while I'm here, before I forget, we would like also to engage in the collective bargaining. We wish that the Labor Ministry should operate as one, which is not biased. Because all the reports that we would have been seeing via social media are not directed to the Guyana Teachers Union, is ones that are biased towards our action. Thank you, Mr. Benchko.
Thank you. Thank you so much indeed. As we prepare, we're looking at the time here, though. Let's give Sir Dean a shot at this. Not a shot of that wine, but a shot of this hypocrisy coming from Priya Manik Chan back in 2018. Hypocrisy, Dean?
Yes, I'm wondering when you're on one side of the fence, if when you change position, you're seeing different. Because these are the same folks that were asking then, what about the teachers? What about the nurses? And they were also saying that we think the public service union should bargain for nothing less than 50%. I am wondering how from then to now, how the percentage would have decreased so quickly and so vastly. So from 50%, now you're just seeing a mere 6.5%. I don't understand.
A lot of us don't understand at all. The hypocrisy is so blatant. And just the other day, we heard the justification of that is that the teachers would have gotten an increase of 50% from 2015 to now. I noticed, Mariska, you're smiling. I noticed Sardine is smiling. Who do they think they're hoodwinking? A bunch of folks who may have attended a university that doesn't exist?
You know, I don't know how we're talking about the multi-year agreement, which we as a union would have submitted in 2019, but because of change of government, we have to start examining from 2020. And so to go all the way back to 2015, I do not understand. The Guyana Teachers Union, we're not looking back. That is why we're dealing with the government of the day. We're talking about 2020. And so from 2020 to current, we know what I know, and I stand corrected, of a 7, 8, and 6.5. And if we're saying that we're in a growing economy, and every day the oil is pumping till you have undisclosed sum of oil being registered to the citizen of Guyana for us to have knowledge, how can it be 7, 8, 6.5, and you're saying it's 50? We're not dealing with all the way back then. We're dealing with current. And, you know, we can't boast about a fast growing economy in the Caribbean, the world, not even the Caribbean, the world. And this is the way we're treating our working class of people. No, No, it's not that. I should say, as the teachers were chanting, Ashni can't count. Ashni can't count. I don't know. I don't understand the 50, but I know about 786.5.
And we all do know about that. The 6.5, you did say the oil economy, billions and billions of dollars. Other people are getting rich, but not teachers, not nurses, not policemen and women. The public servants aren't getting rich. The vendors aren't getting rich. Cost of living has gone up. Pumpkin price gone up. Hassa price gone up. Huri price gone up. Sardine 6.5, meager amount. What could a 6.5 do, sir?
Presently, the 6.5 can't do anything. That is why our teachers, they have 2 and 3 extra jobs. And that is to provide for our family. Teachers, when they come off in the afternoon, those have to go in the farm, depends on your location when you're living. Those who have other businesses, there was this guy who has a mobile little minibus that he's selling some foodstuff and so on. He was on live the other day. And so the 6.5 can't win it. It cannot match. And there are records that to show. I can't remember if it was 2022 or 2023 when the finance minister, Dr. Ashley Singh, was saying, you know what, by the end of this year, the cost of living will double. So in the simplest, the layman will say, so if the cost of living will double by the end of this year, then you have to double what you're giving the folks to sustain themselves. So if the cost of living is double and you're giving us a mere 6.5, I don't understand what will happen there. You're trying to cripple us. And that is why we had a chant, Big Dubai, look what they're doing we in Little Dubai. Because these are the folks that saying that Guyana will become the Dubai of the Caribbean by giving us a mere 6.5%.
I don't know what they mean by Little Dubai. It reminds me of when I was on the quarantine. We used to, as little boys, we used to hail up each other whenever you do something nice. You say, Adibai, Adibai. Maybe that's why they're talking about. But this Miss Williams, 650,000 barrels of oil being pumped out and sent out of Guyana. That's hundreds of millions of dollars. The people get nothing out of that. Schools are incomplete. No proper textbooks in the school. They have schools that are leaking students in classrooms with umbrellas, all manner of things. And yet they say they care. The 6.5, talk to us about that. Black pudding price gone up, barra price gone up, pulori price gone up, mangoes gone up, guinea gone up. What does it do for you and fellow teachers, ma'am?
While I would say I'm grateful because it can't do much, but it's something, right? I think that the 6.5, which was imposed because it was an imposition on the teachers. I'm speaking on behalf of the teachers. It was an imposition. It was a slap in the face. Taking into consideration what my brother Takardine would have said when we look at inflation in the country, it was a slap in the face, right? While it could have covered some aspect of additional light bill cost, it cannot help to maintain or sustain certain things that, we would have had or have going for us. I know that the government of the day would say that we have allowances, but I must make mention of the allowances that were given. The allowances that was given, it cannot, and I should say about 70% of the teaching fraternity would not be benefiting from the allowances that was given. Because when the Guyana Teachers Union make representation for teachers, it's everybody. We do not make representation for only those who holds a degree. But those allowances were for those who have a degree, a diploma, a master's, and a doctorate. So what happened to the other part, a set of teachers? We don't make representation for part. So that is not something to boast about because most of the teachers still remain below minimum wage. Imagine you coming out to CPC and you're still below 100,000 you get in, 94,000 or something like that. I stand corrected. Imagine training, going through all of that training. Sleepless nights, especially with the foolishness that would have been implemented now with hybrid training and so forth. We're not ready for it. We're not properly prepared. And at the end of it, you're still below minimum wage. So the 6.5, it was a slap in the face of the working class.
6.5 slap in the face to working class. I'm looking at all of your comments. I can't read them all, but we're really appreciative of you guys joining us on your Saturday night. I know some of you may want to head off to, where is it, Woodbine out in Brooklyn. Some of you might want to go to a fish shop or some sort of line. But this is very important, and we're happy that you've taken your time out, all of our listeners tonight. Let's head back to Sir Dean. Sir, this coming week, the strike continues. How optimistic are you that this is going to be the long haul until you guys get to the table to discuss?
Well, this week we will continue. And when we would have looked at our statistics here, I can speak for Region 2, on a daily basis, we were getting stronger and stronger. And our support, it was increasing on a daily basis. Um, Speaking here on Monday, we will continue and we will continue getting bigger because we are getting more support. There are more schools and teachers, school closing, and more teachers coming out and indicated that they will be out there. And talking about that on Monday, tomorrow evening at the Anna Regina Car Park, we will be having their candlelight vigil and a prayer session, and so that will be happening. There is where the parents and the students and all teachers and so on who are in the area will come out and support that. So that will spread a bigger word and will create an impact and will encourage more persons to participate on Monday. And you know, when the GS was here on Thursday, she said that we have had 2 weeks, or we have decided to take the strike for 2 weeks. But if it call for another week, we will continue, and another week we will continue. And all our membership, they are with us because they realize that even if they have to lose, you have to lose to gain. But we know at the end of the day, all our members and all who are supporting us out there on a daily basis, everything will be intact because no one will be within the jurisdiction to touch their salary. So they will get the salary and they will get whatever we will negotiate for. I am optimistic about that.
And we're all optimistic, and thousands
Yes.
upon, well, most Guyanese are with you guys during this strike protest. As a parent, I must say how proud I am of you, all of the teachers, even those who are sitting on the sideline. I know they're watching. I know they have a heart. I know they have a conscience. I hope they do. But the majority of teachers are on the right side of history. And so tomorrow at that vigil that you guys going to have, once it is streamed via one of your folks out there in Essequibo, we will carry that live right here on 107.1 FM as well. In closing, Mariska Williams, first Vice President of the Guyana Teachers Union, she handles the money. Before I get to you, though, I was tempted to ask Sir Dr. Dean this particular question. But it appears that those who are in official dome, they believe that teachers should jump on horse cart, donkey cart, and paddle boat. That teachers are not entitled to the good life. They want teachers to ride Big Ben bicycle and so forth, or Dre
Yes.
cart, while they live the good life in fancy SUVs off of taxpayers' monies and so forth. But if a teacher drives a nice fancy car that they may have gotten through duty free or whatever, Teachers shouldn't drive those nice looking things. It is a problem for those folks in official role. Teachers should go to school with bags, handbags, and purse made of quality materials.
You know, yes, the union, when they would have decided to give us that duty free too, I've heard you mention something there about duty free. They keep it minimal because the union, we were asking that at least we take it to a 2000 cc, but they're still giving us a 1500 cc. And the argument we're putting out is, we said this thing is only a one shot. And so if you could have at least give us a 2000 cc vehicle, because most person, when they do get that duty free, is when they are merely retiring. And so they can use it maybe for some sort of business or to sustain themselves. And so they're just giving us presently a 1500 cc. And so you see how they are singling out us, that teachers must not be able to travel or to drive an SUV that is matching maybe a minister or someone in the high governmental position. So you're giving us a mere 1500 cc, and you're treating us as though we don't have any value.
Seems as though we're having a little bit of difficulties.
Seems as though we're getting some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're having some, yeah. We've lost our moderator for this evening's program. The Guyana Teachers Union does not wish to hijack the program though. But while we're here, Brother Durga, we can probably just talk while Mr. Bishop comes in. While persons are the government of the day with the deeds registry would have been talking about the 2 billions that the Guyana Teachers Union cannot account for. We want the government of the day account to the citizens of Guyana for the billions, and I should say the $1 trillion budget and the trillions in gas that we're not aware of what's going on with that. But just know that the membership of the Guyana Teachers Union, they are very much aware of where their money are going. Very much aware. And at any time, we will be ready to present, and they will be able to tell you where the billions have been going.
That's true, Sister Marisol.
And for those of you who are listening, just know that We have our international dues that we pay with the Caribbean Union of Teachers. We also pay our dues with the um trying to remember the other one. But we have our international dues that we pay for affiliation. We also have our bursary that is paid out. We have death benefits, fire benefits. We have a whole number of things going on. At the end of the year, we have award ceremonies, which teachers are honored. So our membership knows exactly where the monies go. So to be spreading missive, to redirect persons to your mischief, it wouldn't work. The membership of the Ghana Teachers Union, they're well aware of what the Jews are used for. And so that is another low blow coming from the government of the day. So
Yeah.
we have you back with us.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just talking about the good life. Some of them have Blaze internet, and we got to get dial-up. So that's the sort of thing. So when a teacher tries to live the good life, it's problematic for some of those in official dome. Closing, and I must apologize for that. In closing, how optimistic are you that I know all of Guyana, forget about the few, all of Guyana are behind you guys with regards to this strike action, and they want the best for our teachers. And Tucker Dean is correct. Sir Tucker Dean is correct. Don't wait until a teacher is about to retire and then expect them to enjoy the good life. They want to do that now at this ripe age. But Ms. Williams, how optimistic are you that this is going to come to a favorable conclusion?
Very much. We're on the right side of the law. We continue to encourage our membership to stand with the union. It is the you in the union that makes us strong. And we're very optimistic we will get it because we're in it for the long run. And we know we've always had cordial relationship with the Ministry of Education. However, we know that at that level, they are not the ones who would make certain decisions. But we're very optimistic, and we just want everyone to know that we thank them for the support, but we are in it. We are in it for the long haul. The teachers would have spoken. And so, yeah, long live GTU, solidarity forever.
You know, long live the GTU and solidarity forever indeed. Over in Essequibo and in Linden and in Borbis and so forth, we saw Compots, we saw Karahi, we saw all sorts of things. We saw Takdin. They had the Karahi there with Hassa and Balaji Chokan, Kokop and Dal and split peas and every single thing. And so I call on members of the public to urge your relatives back home to support this strike by giving them a bottle of water, a case of water, whatever you can afford, juice, whatever. If you could put something in the pot, something in the karahi, just do that. This is for the long haul. Um, in case I haven't asked you anything, Dr. Dean, that you wanted to let members of the audience to know before we go, here is your opportunity, sir.
Yes, I just want to thank everyone because who've been supporting us. I noticed the international support has been overwhelming, and I want to encourage them to continue to support us because this what we are doing here is not only for the teachers, but we are doing this for all the working class in Guyana, this beautiful country of ours. And so I want to say a special thank you on behalf of the GTU and especially region number 2, Essequibo.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I must say that we are very, very optimistic. We are very, very optimistic because we are getting the international support. And to me, by Wednesday, the latest, I am thinking and I'm suspecting they will call us because it is getting hotter and hotter every day. And they can't withstand it. Thank you very much.
Well said indeed. International support. Speaking of that, tomorrow we are going to be back here. I will have as my guest some international trade unionists. They are going to be here. They're keeping an eye on what's happening. And even throughout the Caribbean, the Teachers Union in the Caribbean are supporting. They're in solidarity with you guys. Miss Williams, in case I haven't asked your question that you want our listeners to know, take this opportunity in your closing remarks, please.
Yes, quickly. I want to thank the international community, especially our sisters union, the Caribbean Union of Teachers. I also wish to just briefly state what the 2 billion, which is being alleged that we cannot give account for, is being used for. We have our international dues that we pay yearly, Education International, Caribbean Union of Teachers. We also have bursary awards yearly, death and fire benefits. We have award ceremony recognizing our teachers, and we also have national events. So while the VP would have think that low blow would have caused the union to crumble, you're not doing, you're actually highlighting the things that this union, the Guyana Teachers Union, would have been doing for the membership when compared to other unions. We thank you very much for the low blow because you're giving us the mileage that we deserve. We're very optimistic and we will get what we want. Thank you again, Mr. Benchcop, for having us this evening on your program. Solidarity forever.
And thank you both so much as well from your busy schedule. I know you've had a hectic week, and you want to spend some quality time with your families as well. But coming from an individual about financial allegations of financial skullduggery as is being placed in the propaganda media houses there, a few of them in Guyana. I wish they would have had so much energy. I'm sorry I'm saying it like that, but so much energy to talk about serious allegations leveled against a particular individual by a guy named Sue. Sue, that's what we need to hear. That's what the nation needs to hear about those serious allegations that Sue has leveled against Mr. Jack Day. We want to hear about the smuggling of chicken into the country all throughout the Barbies. We want to hear about the smuggling of eggs and all these sort of things. Oh, let the teachers get what they so rightfully deserve. And let me say hats off to both of you. Convey my regards to all of the other teachers. And before we go, we've got to take a minute to salute you guys. You two tonight, and all of the other teachers, by playing this song.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. They have taken untold billions that they never told to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single will return. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? The union makes us strong.